All right, we talk good policies here with Mike from Barrett Insurance Agency, family owned and operated since day one, right?
Yeah, it was a different family from day one of the 60s. Nate Morrill, and he owned it. And then, of course, my dad acquired it back in 1988, 89. And then it's been in our family since. So,
All right.
yeah.
Now, we know that folks like to, get a great deal on insurance. They want to get the coverage that they need, not that they think that they want, and so on and such forth. And we also know people like to keep things up to date. I'm running these things together, all right?
Yeah, I see it. I see
Insurance
it.
and your personal status. It makes a difference in your insurance, yes or no?
It does. It does. One of the biggest things to think about is that insurance protects you and the situation you're in, the life you are living, which changes, as we all know. It changes frequently. So something that people often forget about is making sure that their insurance policies are changing with them. Something as simple as a changing of your mailing address.
Right.
You know, it's surprising to me how many people their policies cancel because either they changed their mailing and never let us know about it or let the insurance company know about it, or maybe they had an automatic EFT for payments and they changed their account but never once thought to update the insurance part of it. So many things in your life can change that it's absolutely key that you make sure your insurance policy changes with you. And I'll give you an example of how it can really adversely affect you. Let's say you have a renter's insurance policy.
Right.
When you rent, you are not going to live at that location forever. Maybe you are. Maybe you will be there for 20, 30, 40 years.
I will.
But it's quite uncommon. So if you are moving, you need to make sure, let's say you have a P.O. box and you have a renter's insurance policy, otherwise known as a tenant homeowner policy, and that's where all the mail goes, but you have now moved from one physical location to another. If you fail to report that within a certain time, if you suffer a loss at that new location and the insurance company still has you as living at this other location, there may not be enough or any coverage to protect you.
Okay.
The most common for personal property, which is known as coverage C on most of these policies, is that up to 10% of your personal property limit applies to other properties that you are living in or residing in or have personal property in. So if you are at this location but never told us that you're at the new location and you have $25,000 in personal property coverage, potentially the most you'd get at your new location is $2,500.
Ooh.
So there are ways that it can really adversely affect you. If you get married, if you get divorced, husbands and wives. We've talked about this not that long ago. When you are married, by definition, the spouse is insured by your policy and vice versa. If you don't join policies, you're potentially losing out on great opportunity for savings. Froggy. I wasn't froggy all last week. I'm back in Vermont and I'm froggy again.
It was Disney World.
But, so you're missing out on multi-car discounts, for sure, if you're not together on the same policy. But you're also potentially stacking liability limits with insurance companies don't like. So when things change, make sure your insurance policies are changing along with them.
Now, that's when you get married, and you definitely want to do it on the other end of the scale, too, yes? Divorce?
When you divorce, yes, because at that point you are separating property, and at that point, and when you separate, it may not be wise to make any changes immediately to your auto insurance, especially if you are on each other's vehicles. But when you are no longer together and the divorce is final, certainly at that time you would want to make the appropriate changes. And it could be as simple as if husband and wife are divorcing and husband is also on the loan and registration for wife's car, wife goes out and gets her own insurance, it'd be advisable and pretty much required that the husband be listed as an additional insured in the interest of the vehicle. But the husband's not an operator of the vehicle. There's no other reason to have the husband on except for to have them listed as additionally insured if there was a loss sustained to the car, because the husband still stands the risk. And of course, you turn the tables. Wife on the husband's car, same thing.
Vice versa.
Exactly. So there's just so many variables, and that's why we exist. We exist to help guide you into the process initially, and to help facilitate your needs as they evolve over time.
Hence the conversation we always talk about. Another determining factor in your status is obviously age.
Yeah, yeah, and that can be a tough one. It's a given that when you're 16 and become a licensed operator, that you're going to be paying quite a bit more for insurance than most other folks, and that's going to last until you've had your license for 3 years. And after you've had your license for 3 years, some companies you see a little bit of a change when you turn 18, but certainly the 3-year mark of being licensed is a big one, where you see a nice little reduction. Still pretty expensive, but it's a reduction all the same. And then when you turn 21, with some companies, you see it go down again. And then from that point forward, getting married is a big one. And then turning 25 is a big one. But let's go to the less well-known. You get older.
Yeah.
It goes back up again.
Yep.
So it's like a U, where you're up pretty high, and it's not a perfect U because it's a lot higher when you're younger than it is when you're older. But, you start getting into your 70s, and you may have become accustomed to seeing, my vehicles get older, and I have a clean driving record, no accidents. You may be used to seeing that your auto insurance stays pretty flat or maybe even dips a little bit because of the depreciated value in your vehicle. Well, then you get older, you start to see it climb back up again. That can come as a shock for some folks. And that's a difficult conversation to say, well, I'm sorry, your insurance is more, you're getting older. There's some level of tact that needs to be put in there when you're talking to
Well,
folks.
not so much in defense of it here, but also the Department of Motor Vehicles in almost any and every state, once you get to a certain age, they will make you retest for your driver's license anyway. So,
All right. Right. So, and there are things you can do to mitigate that expense. You can take safe driving courses and things like that to try to get some crediting, which most companies would give. So there are ways to try to lower the increase, if you will.
and have a good driving record too.
Well, yeah. Speed demons that like to hit things just don't pay cheap insurance. That's just the way it works. That's
All right, good policies, we call it. Great policies is what you get from Barrett Insurance. We always share the contact information.
Yes, give us a call, 748-5224. Visit our website, thebarrettagency.com. We're in St. Johnsbury, right on Portland Street, and you can find us on Google, YouTube as Barrett Insurance Agency, also Facebook as well. See, I'm off the rhythm. I had a week off, and I'm
By the way, son turned 5.
My son turned 5 2 weeks ago on Wednesday, the 19th, and then my wife turned an age that I shall not say on the air on Sunday. So a happy belated birthday to her as well.
We don't want the marital status to change.
No, not today. The trip to Disney was for certainly my son's celebration, but I made my wife wear the button saying it was her birthday, our last day there.
Excellent.
Just because I wanted to
All
have her
right.
be annoyed. And it was
Mike,
fun.
Stay dry today. Have a great day. We'll see you next week.
You too.
Magic in the Morning. We've got Andy Grammer's Good